Oh boy, that weird man is at it again with his weird videos. Yeah, and you know what? Wacky Zacky's gonna hit you with some info today, too. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, beautiful people. Captain Zach Sparrow here. How are you doing today? I would like to know where you're tuning in from. Germany, some weird place in the US? If you're okay with sharing that, I would love to know. I love seeing that stuff. Let's hop into this. I know there's a few different groups of thought on, hey, there's too much modern product. Modern product is just right. It's good for collectors and investors. Or I disagree. And there's a great conversation there. And I just want to take a step back and kind of analyze those different groups of thoughts there. And let's have a conversation around that. It's really interesting. So the thought process I'm seeing a lot of, and it's really been recent, like the last year or so, really about ever since the kind of like the next boom here happened, like the really big boom, people are saying, hey, you know what? Base set, unlimited, printed to oblivion. There's like 443 Charizard Hollow PSA 10s, 443 of them. In Darkness Ablaze, the VMAX, Charizard VMAX, there's over 5,300 PSA 10s. Okay, that is something that you need to be aware of. Okay, so from an investment standpoint, is it more rare? No, it's not. Okay, so let's think about this now. When people jump into the hobby 10 years from now, are they going to look back on Darkness Ablaze and say, that's the hollow I need? I need a PSA 10 copy of that. Yes, I am almost positive there will be surely some people that want to collect the PSA 10s of all the Charizards or of this particular set and that set. However, that doesn't negate the fact that there is way more modern product than there was of the older sets. People were playing with them on the playground. I remember kids were just throwing these away. Parents were throwing them away. They gave them away. It was given to Goodwill. It was thrown in the dump. That happened with base set. You don't see that nowadays. Nowadays, people pull cards out of packs and they immediately sleeve and top loader them. They save them, take nice pictures of them, put them in display pieces. They take much better care of them nowadays than they did. That part is irrefutable. I totally agree with that. However, I'm not fully on board with the idea that, and here's where I want to have the conversation. I'm not fully on board with the idea that because people are sleeving more cards means that it brings no value to the table. Let's talk about that though. And I don't mean that as a complete endpoint, just put a stamp on it, put that to bed. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I don't buy into the mindset of, well, everything today is printed to the moon. Everyone is saving everything. Everything's in great condition. Yes, there is more so that now than ever before. I totally agree with that. But here's something important that I want to throw out at you. Would be, why are base Sun and Moon, ETBs too, but before the reprint, rewave we just had, they were $150 a box for an ETB. But what about Sun and Moon base booster boxes? They're $200 a box. What about Unbroken Bonds? $300+ a box. Those were also printed to the moon. Those were also modern sets. People were aware of those sets, immediately sleeving them, immediately saving them. Why are those cards continuing to climb in price? Well, Zach, everything is crazy right now. I'm talking about like 10 years out from now. 10 years out from now. That's okay. That's great. That's good to think of here. However, here's something to keep in mind. A famous economist, great economist, John Maynard Keynes once said, has been quoted all over the place, I'm sure most of you have probably heard it before, would be, the stock market can stay irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So I want to let that sit for just a second there, because it's so important to remember. Well, dude, the Pokemon market isn't the stock market. Yes, but no. Right? It's still a market. There's still people at play there who don't understand what's going on. They don't have a grasp on the grand scope of reality of the Pokemon market. I don't. So-and-so doesn't. Nobody does. Nobody does. That is why the market is wrong. The market is always wrong. Technically, it's always self-correcting. That's why you see fluctuations in prices. That's not Econ 101. Actually, that's like brokering 101, really. But what I'm trying to say and why I want to kind of slow down here for a second is really think about that for a minute. Think about that. You've got a couple different groups of thought. There are several groups of thought, like people who kind of stay in between, they don't really care. Of the investor mindset, you have people who think, okay, modern's not really guaranteed. It's not guaranteed to go up in that case because it's been printed to the moon. Everyone's saving and hoarding it nowadays. And that's kind of how they view that. Now, I'm oversimplifying, of course. I understand that your justification is much more complex than that, but I'm just trying to make this somewhat concise for a video here. And then you have people of the mindset who think, you know what, I understand that modern is printed quite a bit more than it was ever before, and demand is sky high right now. What's to guarantee that moving forward? You can't have exponential growth just forever. You're eventually going to run out of people and or resources. That's a great mindset as well. But in that thought group there, that think tank, whatever, not a think tank, but of that, consensus, that group mindset, whatever the groupers are over here, we'll call them group A, I guess, that thought process, and I'm largely in that standing there of believing, hey, you know what? And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you guys here today. So that's why this isn't as organized. I didn't write out any notes beforehand for this, and I think it's coming across in my video now. So I'll remember to do that in the future. But what I really want to come across here is that, yes, I understand, and that group mentality is that, yes, there's more product printed now than ever. There's more demand now than ever. Why are box prices continuing to go up right now? Well, the craze is crazy right now, Zach. It's just absolutely absurd. Everything is selling like hotcakes right now. That is why it is going up. And there definitely could be, and I do foresee a lull in the market in between now and the next mini boom or growth or whatever with the company. Now, when I was looking at evaluating stocks and mutual funds and whatever the heck, you would have to look at, okay, what is the past performance of this company? What is the likelihood for that to continue going forward? Do I think that the $100 billion franchise Pokemon company, do I think that they're going to mess up so bad in the next decade and that people are just going to totally lose interest in Pokemon? I do not. Even if they pulled the plug right now, like today, do I think 10 years from now, the Pokemon company will just be dead in memories of ever? Of course they won't be. We're making videos. You are sitting down right now and willfully watching a Pokemon-ish channel talking about the money that's involved with it. How specific and niche is that in your life? And you're choosing to sit there. You're wasting your life away right now watching me talk. Think about that for a minute. Don't click off the video, though. I'm going to need that ad revenue later when I monetize. But the great thing to keep in mind here is, what if some or both of those thought processes are right? Oh, wow. Okay. Now we have a conversation around there. And there probably is some truth into both of those, right? So that's why I wanted to have the conversation today. Now that I've had that nice lengthy intro that probably led all the way to the outro of this video, I don't know how I'm going to wrap this up at this point. Okay, I collected my thoughts here. So you're going to have people 10 years from now that will look back fondly on Darkness Ablaze. Kids today that open up Vivid Voltage that want to go back and revisit those sets. They will pay a premium to do that. We have seen that time and time and time again. Why did Aquapolis grow? Why did Diamond and Pearl grow? Why did Heart Gold Soul Silver grow? Why did every single set grow? Because people wanted to go back and revisit those sets. Why would they not want to go back and revisit today's sets? Yes, today they're modern. 10 years from now, they'll be 10 years old at that point. It is very weird to me because there are very, very, very smart people who truly don't see the growth for modern product in the future, but they do see that for vintage. I find that bizarre because some of those people, not all of them, some of those people truly think the vintage is going to grow. And modern will kind of fall flat, or it might fall off the face of the earth, or it might kind of grow, but pale in comparison to that of vintage. From a percentage increase standpoint, I don't see that happening. We haven't seen that happen. Statistically, I've gone over it in so many videos, but it's very fascinating. It's very interesting, the mindset of that, in order for vintage to grow, would you not think that modern would also grow, implying that the Pokemon company, the Pokemon market would be healthy? And everyone throws this terminology out as well. Whenever water rises, all boats tend to rise with it, right? So it's very interesting. It's very odd. And this isn't me victory lapping on, hey, look at all these modern sets that have grown. Well, yes, every single base set was modern at one point. So it's very interesting. So keep that in mind. Man, I hate saying keep that in mind. I say that in every single video. I hate that. All right. So hopefully this made you think of something a little bit different there. My opinion, as you guys know, is that yes, I see modern growing as well. I see it continuing to perform, because if it doesn't, then all you vintage hoarders are going to have to worry as well. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know. I've got vintage product as well. So I mean, yes, I would like all of it to succeed, but think about this. I want to throw this out here at the end. I wanted to throw some numbers your guys' way. The reason why, I like Magic the Gathering, there are just a bunch of different ways to play the markets on these. Like the Japanese market for Pokemon is totally different than the English market. So jumping back to Flesh and Blood here, the reason why I am intrigued by Flesh and Blood is not only have I heard interviews, countless interviews, actually, from Legend Story Studios. So, did you guys know on TCG Player, it was over 94, I think it was 97, but let's go 94. Over 94% of sales for Flesh and Blood are for unlimited product. And people say no one plays the game. People say it's not investable. It's so bizarre. The amount of work that people do to be willfully ignorant. It's just so unique. It's so unique. It's very interesting. How much work people are willing to put in to just not quite get there and to hate on a product for whatever. And then that's when you know you have something. When you get hate on a video, when you get hate on a product or a mindset, whatever you have, that means that people are passionate enough about it. And that tells me that the Pokemon card market is strong. Flesh and Blood card market is strong. I do believe in the ability for all of them to perform in the mid to long term there. So that's just very interesting. We'll leave it at that for today. I hope this brought some sort of value to you guys. Maybe made you think of something in a slightly different way. I wanted to have a conversation on this, just kind of really thinking out loud. These are the kind of conversations I have. Please let me know if this kind of format was all right. I know it's kind of scatterbrained a little bit earlier there, but hopefully that made sense. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe and watch another one of my videos. And until next time. So I stood on this right here, right? I stood on this when my wife got home just a little bit ago, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Just trying to cheer you up."